Hey YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick update on my third graders homeschool curriculum. I will just share with you what we have been using and if we're still using the same things that we started off with at the beginning of the school year. We are into our second semester, so some changes have happened. I think that's inevitable, but let's get started. We started with Language Lessons for a Living Education 3, and this book here is incorporated into the program, 101 Favorite Stories from the Bible. This is probably my favorite part of the program. I really liked how they incorporated Bible right into the language arts. It was really nice to go through it and read stories. It was probably my daughter's least favorite just because it was hard for her to write in the lines that's provided here in the language arts book. The lines were a little bit small in terms of the spacing. There wasn't a lot of space. And if your kid writes a little bit on the bigger side still, or there, instead of one finger space, they do two finger spaces, you can run out of space pretty quickly. So that was kind of a no-no for her. She didn't like that. But she loved the crossword puzzles, and she also loved the I guess the word searches. Yeah, these word searches, she loved these too. And those were fun. I just didn't feel like the spelling was a good fit for us. And I kind of prepared myself at the beginning of the school year for the spelling. I got out another program for us to use with this. But even so, it didn't work out. But that's okay. I'm going to keep this and just put it on the shelf. And who knows, come back to it possibly. It could be one of those things where we're at, the end of the year. We're getting there anyway. And sometimes we just get tired of being in the same book for so long. Sometimes that's what it is. And so I'm just going to put it away. I'm going to use some other things that we have, and I'll share those with you in a minute. And then maybe we'll bring it back again. But nothing wrong with it. Just it didn't work out for the rest of the school year. All right, so next, kind of on the language arts side, we're still using Explode the Code. She's almost done with book 5. She'll go into book 6, and this is just phonics, you guys. It's just good practice. And let's see, and I already have book 6, so she'll go into that one right after this one. All right, for handwriting, we started the school year with A Reason for Handwriting, book C. This is their cursive book. And I was a little bit disappointed, and I'll tell you what. It was because I thought that she was going to be practicing cursive writing with scripture the entire lesson. But instead what happens is you write several or a few words day 1, and then day 2 in cursive, and then day 3, and then on day 4 all you're doing is copying what's already there. So they're just copying over that. I found that sometimes these words that they're practicing on day 1 and 2 weren't necessarily all in the scripture. For the most part they are, but some of them I thought, well, what is that word for? I don't know. But I would have loved if they were practicing like a line every day, and then eventually at the end of the week they wrote out the entire scripture. That would have been cool. And that was just kind of my fault for not looking into that more. So we put this down, and I got her something else for cursive. So for arithmetic, math, she was doing Abeka Arithmetic 3, and this is great. I really love the way Abeka teaches math concepts, and I'm a really big fan of the teacher's manual. I was looking for something like what Abeka offers, so that was awesome. Perfect fit for me as a parent, because we do parent-led. Is great, and this is great. But I will tell you that if you are going from a math curriculum like Horizons, from like 2nd grade like I did, into 3rd grade of another curriculum, I highly suggest looking at the scope and sequence for the grade below the one you want to place your child in. So I should have looked at grade 2, because a lot of these concepts that she was spiraling so quickly through, were introduced in grade 2. And had I known that, I would have put her into the grade 2 sooner. But that's okay. I ended up putting her into the grade 2 just a few weeks ago. So she did great with this, but what happened was they started to introduce long division with remainders. So it was like 1 week she was doing multiplication and division, and then the next week she was doing long division with multiple digits, and then that same week she was doing remainders. And I thought, whoa, this is going so fast. And she was getting a little bit frustrated because she wanted to do more of the multiplication and like the beginning of division, but they spiraled too fast for her. So so we got 2, and I have plans for Rebecca next year. So I'm gonna just keep this, and we'll probably do this in 4th grade. Yeah, so I'll make another video about that. But otherwise, we really love Rebecca. I especially like their teaching aids. They have like all these charts for the kids to look at, and my daughter loves that she can just pull out her chart. If she has a hard time remembering what something means, she just grabs her chart. So she's pretty independent that way. They have like multiplication facts, and you don't have to mess with a bunch of manipulatives. You just get your chart and you look at your chart. So she doesn't really need that hands-on aspect of math. So the charts work really well for her. All right, so that is math, and I'll show you the grade 2 book in a second. All right, next is typing. So she's still using the Good and the Beautiful Typing 1, and she just works on this whenever she wants to. She opens up a Word document, and she does a lesson. It's kind of fun. It's not something that's required, but she does it for fun. She's also still using the maps, charts, and graphs. She's on book C right now. So I started her off in A. Originally I had B, but she wanted to start at the beginning. So she got A and B. She did those 2, and now she's on C. And I'm hoping she slows down a little bit because I don't want to go into D yet. I'm hoping I don't have to. I purchased it, but I'm going to see if she can slow down on this. She really likes geography. And then I can save D for next year. But there's a lot more reading in this one too, so it automatically slows her down a bit, which is good. But she loves this great informative book that she can do independently. All right, for her readers in reading, she completed book 2A, B, and C of her Rebecca readers, and we love these. These worked out really nice. She's currently on book, is she on D? Yeah, she's on D, on book D. She read Lewis and Clark. She read the first Thanksgiving, the Big Balloon Race, Clara and the Book Wagon, Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, Martin Luther King Jr., Prairie School, and she loved all those. And she also read Zoe and Sassafras. So she read most of this. Actually, she left off, what was it? I think it's chapter 9, something. Yeah, there's only a couple of chapters left, but she didn't want to read this anymore. She said it was too much magic and like sorcery, things like that. She's not into that, and she did not like that. So she stopped reading it on her own, and so I don't think I'll get any more of those. So I'm going to have to find another science reader. She's going to be reading Sacagawea, Thomas Jefferson, because we're in the Civil War era right now in history. And then I believe she's going to be reading about Clara Barton. She's the pioneering American nurse who founded the American Red Cross. So she's going to be reading about her. So those are just books that I add in for our history and stuff, depending on what we're learning. She also read, I forgot to pull them off the shelf, but she read book 11. No, I think she read book 12 and book 13 of Sophie Mouse. So I'm getting her, let's see, 14, 15, and I think they have a book 16. So I'm going to get her those 3 so she can read those for fun. All right, so the new things. Let me just put these off to the side. So I ended up getting her this Write a Super Sentence by Evan Moore. It's a reproducible book, but I've just let her write in it. And basically what it is, it just helps kids get an idea of how to write a really good sentence, a more descriptive sentence. It gives them this sentence organizer so they can add an adjective, a verb, a where and a what, and it gives them some ideas as to what to say about a particular subject. So this is a good thing for her to do since we stopped doing the language arts. So every so often she just picks something she wants to write about in here, and this gives her an idea, and then during the week she can write about whatever she wants. Draw and write journal. And I forgot to bring that out too. But this kind of gets her started, and we just kind of talk about remembering to add a descriptive word instead of just the leprechaun hid. Let's talk about describing the leprechaun a little more, adding where the leprechaun was, when did it happen, and then she can get an idea and then write a better sentence, more descriptive. So this is good to have. All right, so for her arithmetic, she's doing this now. I didn't get any of the parent material because she's flying through most of this right now because it's review. But once she gets to the division and multiplication, I'll probably sit with her a little bit more. And then this just is the speed drills and the tests and quizzes. And yeah, this is working fine for her now. So we'll go through that. Let's see what else. So for handwriting, I ended up getting this Abeka Writing with Phonics, the cursive book. So this is for like grade 1, but I thought this was good because of the slanted penmanship that they use. I don't know what it's called, but it's not as boxy as some other programs. So we really like the way this teaches. And it starts her off really simple with like a few words, short sentences, and then eventually she'll be writing paragraphs. I looked for grade 2, but it looked like it progresses pretty quickly from sentences to paragraphs. So I wanted to give her a good foundation in cursive and not stress her out too much. She's already doing a lot of writing in other things. So this is working out great. What she does is just one side per day. So she'll do this side, and then the next day she would do that side, whatever it is. Usually it has cursive writing on both sides. And that works out fine. So we ended up going with a different spelling program, like I mentioned. So I picked up Spelling 3 by BJU. I also have the teacher's edition that I forgot to bring over here. This is working out really well for spelling. So this is kind of like something that we're looking for. That I mentioned when I was talking about the language arts. So you get a list of words, you work on that list of words for an entire week. So, well, 4 days. And then on the 5th day, she gets a quiz. And this has been working out really well. So this is the kind of thing that I was looking for. And the teacher's guide, I'll tell you, is pretty good, only because depending on what they're learning, it gives you some good ideas and some like rules. So you might want to use that once in a while. But other than that, it's self-explanatory to the student. It also is more for like a school. They have a lot of questions, a lot of suggestions for writing on the board and things like that. And I just don't have time for that sort of thing. But you might find it helpful. So, you know, maybe get it. I don't know. It makes the program a lot more expensive when you buy it. But there's also a CD, and you can print off extra worksheets and stuff like that. But for right now, this is doing the job that I want it to do, and it's taking place of our language arts. So I don't really have a grammar component at the moment. I've got the spelling, and I've got the explode the code, and we'll figure something out. I don't know what we're going to do for grammar, if anything, for the rest of the school year. We'll see. And I mentioned that I have D for maps, charts, and graphs. And we'll see. A lot more reading and writing in this one too. More reading and multiple choice. All right, you guys, that is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment down below, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks, guys.